Welcome back to another season of Hoop and Helmets. I'm Brody Jacobson, joined alongside by Lucas DeVries. We have a lot of fun guests in store for us this year on the podcast. Lucas, how's your day going?
It's going great. What about you?
It's doing well. I'm happy to be here. We're going to start it off with some college football national title predictions. Lucas, give me an early prediction here.
All right. So, it's pretty obvious. I got to go with Clemson Tigers. They're my team. They're going to be good again. Hopefully, they're returning. Cade Klubnik, the quarterback. They got some good receivers coming back. I think some of the best receivers in the country. People will see once the season starts rolling. We got some great defensive players as well. A new defensive coordinator. So we should be pretty stacked. At least we are on paper. We'll just see if we can actually put it together this year. We haven't been able to do that the past couple of years. But if we do, I think Clemson's going to be pretty scary this year. And they don't have a tough schedule, so maybe they won't get tested, but they're definitely going to at least make the playoff with how easy their schedule is.
Yeah, right. That's an interesting pick there, Clemson. Number 4 in the AP poll heading into this year. I'm going to take it, obviously, Texas, Ohio State. I'm just going to throw out an interesting team here in Alabama. Kalen DeBoer's second year with the program. And I think Ty Simpson is the starter this year, but I just think a guy interesting is Keelan Russell. He's a guy that they have in their QB room. I think they're going to give all these QBs a try. And when Keelan Russell comes in, I think he's going to be a major player for this Alabama team. They have Ryan Williams, Jerry Bernard. Of course, everyone knows those two guys. This is an Alabama team that can be dangerous and a very top-loaded SEC. What do you think about Alabama?
Yeah, I think Alabama will be great. It's going to be a bounce back year for them because last year they obviously didn't make the playoffs. And I feel like Kalen DeBoer, even though it's just his second year, I think he's under a lot of pressure because what Nick Saban did. So, everyone knows what he did. So, it's going to be really tough to live up to that. But Kalen DeBoer's got to at least get Bama to the playoffs. So, with the talent they have on their squad, obviously because it's Alabama, they should easily make the playoffs. Obviously, Ryan Williams, Ty Simpson, they got a lot of good pieces. Another great defense this year for Alabama. We'll just see if they can put all those pieces together and try to make a national title run. I'm pretty sure they're going to make the playoff. I don't know about a national title, but I could see it happening.
Yeah, right. Alabama, they can't have another shutout loss to Oklahoma like they had last year. And this SEC is only getting more dangerous. Look about teams like South Carolina, they're top 15 in the AP poll. LSU, people think they're going to have a big year. When you look at this SEC conference here, is there any team that you think could win the conference or a team that jumps out to you in particular?
I think that LSU is going to be great this year because Garrett Nussmeier, he's top quarterbacks in the Heisman voting stuff already. And then they have great wide receivers like Aaron Anderson. And they have that guy from Kentucky who's extremely fast.
Barry Brown.
Yeah, that torched Clemson a couple of years ago. And they're LSU, so they're just gonna have great pieces all around. They'll have great guys on defense. Harold Perkins is returning. He's insane. But yeah, recently LSU's defense has been what's letting them down in the past couple of years. So if they could turn that around, I could very well see them winning the SEC.
Yeah, right. And LSU, who they play week 1 again?
They play Clemson, so it's a big time battle week 1.
Yeah, that should be an interesting matchup, of course. LSU Clemson, Saturday night primetime, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to roll with the Tigers, LSU in that one, not the Clemson Tigers. But
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the other Tigers, but
well, you talked about Heisman and Garrett Nussmeier. If you look at the Heisman race right now, obviously Klubnik. Throw Klubnik away. Who's your pick for the Heisman?
I would have to go Nussmeier for now just because I haven't seen anything, but I can see Lenore Sellers doing it. The difference between them two, I think Lenore Sellers is actually the better quarterback. I just think Nussmeier has a better chance because I think he has a better team around him, so they'll get more wins. He'll get more help, which makes him look better as well. Even though I think Lenore Sellers is the better talent, I bet you Garrett Nussmeier will have a better chance to win the Heisman.
I think Carson Beck's an interesting play here.
Yeah, I think he could be a lot like Cam Ward.
Yeah, transferring to Miami. I'm not quite sure because I read something about Cam Ward's quarterback trainer that was at Washington State. Now he's moved on to Oklahoma where he'll be the offensive coordinator there. Carson Beck obviously didn't have that training, and he's never been a true passer like Cam Ward was because he was at Georgia. He wasn't really like designed to be a passer per
Yeah.
se, but I think he's an interesting shot considering like not many people think of him for Heisman right now. Do you have any sleepers for Heisman? Like some deep sleepers?
Well, I know you like the Navy quarterback a lot, and I can see that happening because Navy has a very easy schedule this year. We saw what Army and Navy both did last year. They were undefeated at like week 10 or something. It was crazy. And I think Navy could do it again. Army will probably be good again, but I think Navy is going to be the better team this year. They're returning their running back and quarterback, Blake Horvath. So, yeah, they're going to be pretty good. And I think if Horvath, he's obviously going to have a lot of rushing touchdowns. Since they're playing some worse opponents, he's just gonna get a lot of touchdowns, which obviously the committee will like take that into account that he's not playing good opponents, but he might have enough, just like Bryson Daly on Army last year, where I think he can get himself in the conversation.
Yeah, and I believe they're favored in their first 9 or 10 matchups, and I think if they go like they have a possibility to go 9-0. You saw what both military academies were able to do last year. If they're 9-0 and they're ranked like 15th. Then they play Notre Dame, and I think that game against Notre Dame has a shot to be a primetime game. I'm not sure what other games are on that day that could be the primetime game.
Yeah, just like Army versus Notre Dame last year.
Except Notre Dame took care of both teams handily last year. But I think Blake Horvath, he has another year to be the star. He's got Hayden right back, the running back, who can also stretch out and play receiver. He's an interesting play. And my guy from Washington, he's not going to win the Heisman this year. I thought he was, but maybe next year. He's definitely a guy to put on your radar. Top 5 NFL draft pick incoming in 2 years. DeMond Williams Jr. for Washington. Not many times you hear a coach say they're going to pour all talents into one guy, and that's what Washington head coach Jed Fish said about DeMond Williams. He started one game basically the whole year. He played some of the Oregon game, threw for 200 yards against Oregon, 2 touchdowns. Oregon was a great defense last year. Then in the bowl game, 400 yards and 100 rushing yards, like 3 touchdowns against Louisville. That's a guy who knows how to play. Mm-hmm. He sat behind a great quarterback in Will Rogers, threw for a ridiculous amount of passing yards. I think DeMond Williams. They brought in a receiver from Penn State too. Washington's going to be good. DeMond Williams is going to be good.
Yeah, I watched him in the bowl game last year, and he was pretty insane. So I could definitely see him getting himself in the conversation. A couple other quarterbacks that I like. I always like quarterbacks in the ACC just because the competition isn't as good. So they'll throw a lot of yards. So obviously Cade Klubnik's going to be up there. Carson Beck at that Miami offense. Who knows what numbers he could break. I also like Haynes King at Georgia Tech and Kevin Jennings at SMU. A lot of people are kind of sleeping on him. He was sneaky, really good quarterback last year, and he's coming back for another year with that SMU high-powered offense. So who knows what he could do. And then another team in the ACC that people should just watch out for is Louisville because they're returning a lot of guys. And just since the ACC doesn't have as much depth as the SEC, we could have a quarterback candidate play good football, and then he'll definitely get himself in the mix.
And you talk about the ACC because I know you're the ACC master over here.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this conference. You said they're going to be better this year than they were last year.
I think they will.
You think they're going to have 2 playoff teams again, maybe 3?
I think they could sneak in 3. I think that Clemson is pretty much. I think they're going to make it. I'm pretty darn confident about that. Miami, I'm 50-50 kind of on them. There's a very good chance that Miami makes it, so that would be 2. And then SMU, Georgia Tech, and Louisville, I think there's a 50% chance at least one of them makes it, if not higher than 50, maybe more like 60. So it's definitely possible 3. The most likely outcome is probably 2, but I could see 3 ACC teams making it.
And you talk about these conferences, right? The Big Ten's had the better of the SEC the last 2 years because they've had the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the Big Ten and SEC this year, do you think the Big Ten will be superior once again?
Well, it's kind of tough for me to say that just because I like watching the SEC so much better because it's more fun to watch. So I'm always an SEC guy over the Big Ten. But yeah, the Big Ten definitely had their number, especially in the playoffs last year with Ohio State. Penn State made it to the Final Four. Ohio State destroyed all the SEC teams in their path. So yeah, it's kind of just as of now, it's the Big Ten is the superior conference, most people say, but I still think the SEC it's just better. There's even if Ohio State and Penn State are better than Texas and Alabama, the depth in the SEC, you saw what Vanderbilt did, Arkansas pulling off upsets against top 5 teams on the same week. the Big Ten never does that because they don't have that. Outside of like Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and maybe like a USC or some team like that sneaks in there. They're like just like not that good of a conference. Meanwhile, the SEC has like 8 teams in the top 25 every year. That's what makes it more fun to watch, and I think that also makes it a better conference. And then it doesn't really matter what happens in the playoffs because if it was like a 32-team playoff, the SEC would have so much more teams than the Big Ten would.
Yeah, they just don't have the depth that the SEC has. But what about group of 5 teams to make the college football playoff here? Because, as we know, Boise State made it last year, but they lost their guy, Ashton Jonesy. They still have Maddox Madsen. But there's a few group of 5 teams that might be able to make the playoffs. I'm just going to tell you right now, I think it's going to be Navy. But do you think anybody else?
Well, yeah, obviously Navy jumps out because I know like the military football school's better than anybody else. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know too much about like the group of 5 teams really yet this year. So I would probably say Navy, but if I had to guess, I mean, is Memphis still a group of 5 team?
Yeah.
All right, so they'll probably be pretty good because I feel like they always are. Maybe like a team like UTSA or something is good. Or like in North Texas I guess Boise State's still group of 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Boise State, I bet you they'll be up there. But I'd definitely give the edge to Navy right now. But I'd say like Boise State and Memphis are probably the close seconds.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what to expect from this group of 5 teams. It's usually like 3 teams that are going to be really good, and then it's pretty much all random because these days everybody transfers out of the group of 5 teams to Power 4 teams. So speaking of some transfers, some interesting transfers that I think heading into this year, Devin Dampier, New Mexico State quarterback last year. No, New Mexico, not New Mexico State. New Mexico quarterback last year. Went to Utah. Total scrambler. He can throw the ball. He can scramble against anybody. Now he heads to Utah. I think he can have a big year with the Utes this year.
I think Utah will be very improved this year and almost back to where they were when they had like Cam Rising like 2-3 years ago.
Still in college?
I don't know if he's still there, but he's not playing. But yeah, I think Utah will definitely be better, and I think they'll be contending for the Big 12. For me, the Big 12 is by far the most confusing conference. Like, I know the SEC is going to be deep, and they're going to have a bunch of good teams. I know the Big 10 is going to have Ohio State, Penn State, like Oregon or whatever. I know who's going to be good in the ACC. But the Big 12, if you ask me who's going to win, I generally have no clue. I feel like it could be Iowa State, Kansas State, Utah, like Baylor, BYU, TCU. I'm probably forgetting some too, but like even like a team like Arizona or something, you never know. If they have a good year, they could easily win because usually the Big 12 doesn't have a winner that's like undefeated, just because none of the teams are like ever that great, with Oklahoma and Texas leaving. So it's kind of just a puzzle for that conference. But I like Baylor a lot. I like their quarterback Sawyer
We're playing them week 1.
Robinson, yeah, he's pretty good. But if I still had to give it to a team, that I'd probably say Utah. Oh, another team that's supposed to be good is Texas Tech because they returned a lot of guys. So
they got a lot of transfers.
I'd say Texas Tech for now because, yeah, I don't know, because they've gotten the most production, and I don't really know who else is going to win. So I'll just say Texas Tech.
My Big 12 pick, forks up, Arizona State.
I forgot about them.
I guess they're the obvious pick, but anybody can really win the Big 12. I mean, Arizona State was projected last year. Kenny Dillingham, such a winner. They got rid of Scadaboo. Well, he left, but now they bring in the Army running back Kanye Udo.
Yeah.
Who was an absolute studded Army last year. They have Sam Levitt back. I think they have Tyson, their wide receiver.
Oh, they do.
Back.
Yeah,
He's
Tyson. Really good. Yeah,
Jordan Tyson. That's 3 guys right there on your offense that are probably better. They're three best trio at those skill positions, I think, in the entire conference. A team I want to talk about is, what about Colorado? No Suns this year, right? No Suns.
Yeah.
No Travis Hunter. Just Caden Salter from Liberty.
I think they'll sneak out like a 6-6 season type. They'll probably get like 5-6 wins. They'll be like
6.
Nah. They'll probably be like a decent squad. They're not going to be as good as last year, but I also don't think they're going to be like as bad as they were in year 1 under Deion Sanders. So I think they'll get they'll stack up some wins early in the year. sneak out a couple Big 12 wins, maybe make a bowl game, maybe not, and they'll just have like an average year, I think.
I think there's just so many Big 12 teams that are just so bad they can pick up easy wins.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing for wins every single week.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of forgot about Arizona State, so yeah, they're definitely the favorite right now, but it literally anyone could win the Big 12. It's you kind of can't really guess. But yeah, Arizona State for me, it's just like their coach kind of like takes it over the hump because he's obviously proven he made the playoffs last year, was one play away from beating Texas. So yeah, I'd have to go with Arizona State as of now.
Lucas also picks Arizona State, hopping on the bandwagon here from me here.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for episode 1 of Hoop and Helmets Season 2. We're going to have lots of more guests this season. If you want a guest and you stayed this long, comment them down below on any social media platform. For Brody Jacobson and Lucas DeVries, we're signing out.